everyone, good morning and happy Sunday. I'm here today with a little reading, morning messages from the Fae. I just found this to be a wonderful time, this quiet sort of time in the morning before everyone's awake to pull some cards. And this is the time of year, especially when I typically work with this type of energy. I like to pull it into my readings. I like to focus my spiritual practice on working with this type of energy. And I pulled this morning messages from the Fae. And it's just such a beautiful reading. I wanted to share it. I hesitate to do collective readings or readings that, would be just for the world as a whole. But this was had such a beautiful message that I definitely wanted to share it. And it could definitely be, seen as a message for the collective, or it could just be a message for you. It may resonate with you on a personal level, but for me, Timmy, it just had such a beautiful message that I definitely had to share it. So it's interesting on this side of the reading. I feel that really grounded, earthy energy. We have the 5 of Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles, and that just gives me this really grounded, earthy vibe. And I love how on this side of the reading, there's more of this very very lofty, very like sort of whimsical feeling with the 4 of Swords. And the 5 of Pentacles is often a card of just feeling bereft or just depleted of resources and energy. And there's sort of a little feeling of hopelessness, sort of that barren winter energy, when the land is barren and when we're waiting for the spring to come and growth and our resources to return. So to me, this has a little bit of a feeling of hopelessness. As you can see in the card, the depiction of the figures that are in the card, it does feel like she's hopeless, but there is a hint of support and hope to come in the person comforting her. And right now, especially in the United States, I feel like there's a lot of this feeling of hopelessness, with so many things going on and so many changes happening, and almost feels like it's out of our control in some point. In some respects, like things might be out of our control, but this has a glimmer of hope. But we may feel like we're helpless and there's nothing we can do, and we've sort of lost, all of our resources, or we feel like we don't have any resources or any way out. And then you have the 7 of Pentacles, which is that glimmer of hope that I was talking about. So, her face to the sun, she's actually pregnant. So there's that hope of new birth coming and renewal. And it's like the hint of spring. It's like the hint of sun, it's just getting warm. And like I said, her face is to the sun. And, there is that hope that where something that you've been working on, a project or just something a goal that you've been working towards, it's not quite there yet. You're not there yet, but that with patience and more hard work and diligence, that the goal will be met. And there is hope for that goal in the future. And then we have the 4 of Swords, which it sort of ties in that feeling of waiting, that feeling of, pausing, taking a pause, taking a breath, reflecting, maybe turning inward a little. This card, it's the sort of that mind racing, like before this, mind racing, just thinking of ways that we can solve our problem, ways we can meet our goal, what are we going to do? And this is really that moment of pause. The number 4 kind of gives that feeling of balance, of structure, I almost think of it as like four sides of a square, and sort of like getting into that box and stopping and pausing and thinking. So this has a very like sort of pause, sort of a little bit of lightness, maybe taking a step back, maybe, stop your mind racing. I also see this as sort of like a disconnect, a card of disconnect, maybe step away from social media, step away from the news, walk away from the TV, turn it off, just sort of calm the chaos and silence, all that noise, because we're being bombarded with it right now. And I know there's just been a lot of overwhelm with, things in the media and the news, and just that constant feed of the TV and your phone and, the social media and the constant scrolling. And I feel like this is the card telling you, okay, maybe we should take a step back, pause, take a breath. Hope is not lost, but sometimes a grounding, a sort of step away, moment might be helpful to kind of regroup and figure out, what we can do to move forward and what progress we can make. But that this chaos and noise of the media and everything going on right now, like I said, in the United States specifically, is sort of overwhelming us and causing us to be so overwhelmed and have this feeling of hopelessness of, I don't know what to do. I'm bereft of energy and resources. And this is the, moment of not quite. There's work to be done, but you have to have patience. And this is the disconnect, ground, recenter yourself, and then get back to work, but this is that pause. And then, we have this little oracle card here that says the Green Maid, and it says, the Green Fae speak to you, let them guide you to safety. So I feel like this, again, is just, it ties in so beautifully with this feeling of sort of being sort of alone and bereft and not really, knowing how you're going to move forward with this lack of resources and energy and time, and just sort of that feeling of being lost and empty. But this is sort of like the spirit telling us that they're there, that there's support, that we're not alone, that they can guide us to our goal. And the Green Maid is very grounding. Again, I see this as being like a very grounding, to go with the Pentacles. And then we have this card that says, away we fly, take the cloud roads, delight in your imagination. So this, again, very air, to me, I feel air energy with this. Obviously, take to the clouds, away we fly. It's very airy and light, and goes perfectly with this energy of the Four of Swords. These butterflies, again, sort of that feeling of air and lightness and pausing and disconnect, reconnect with your imagination, imagine what can be, imagine what we can do. If we just kind of silence some of that noise and get back to our intuition and kind of connect with our inner self. I feel like this ties in beautifully with this. And then I sort of pulled this, final card, and this is the White Stag, and it says shape-shifting support otherworld. And I just love that idea of support, and that otherworld, that the energies, the spirit, whatever you call it, however you connect with it, whatever it means to you, whether it's the Fae, whether, it's deities that you connect with, or just spirit in general, or just, a god or a goddess, or however you connect to that energy. This, to me, is what is saying that they're there with us. They're there to guide us. They're there to support us. They're there to help us. And I just wanted to actually read the entry from the guidebook. This is from the Celtic Spirit Oracle, just because it's so beautiful and it resonates so much with me right now. And I'm hoping it resonates with some of you as well. So I just wanted to read part of what's in the guidebook, because, as I said, it's beautiful. So the White Stag represents the strength of the masculine to help aid the feminine. If that isn't a message, I don't know what is, because, as I said, what we're going through right now in the United States especially, And just, I feel like there's been sort of this silence from the the men of the world, and like we really need men to step up and speak up for the feminine, because so much of our choice and our rights, so much of that is being tested right now. And I feel like this is a beautiful reminder that we need that masculine energy. We need men to step up and fight alongside of us and support us. And even though it's a female, technically a female feminine body issue, this is an issue for all of us, for the collective as a whole. And I just love this idea. The stag sees through the veils of the world straight into our soul. It understands us because it sees us as we truly are. It is here to offer us a safe haven and give us the strength to carry on as it carries us to where we need to go while we rest. So again, that feeling of rest, patience, disconnect, disconnect from the noise, take a moment, calm your mind. And so this just ties in beautifully with this message. And I love the idea of the masculine, aiding the feminine. By drawing the white stag, this card offers us the wisdom that we are also pushing ourselves too hard and need to share the load. It is time to ask for help and allow yourself to be supported. Take time out and allow yourself to rest and receive. By learning your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual limits, we learn to not only take care of ourselves better, but that creates a sustainable pace when we resume our work. So again, that idea of pausing and, collecting our thoughts and our minds and getting our heart and our mind and our body and everything in alignment, so that we can move forward with what we need to do as a collective, and how we can move forward, how we can pool our resources. It is easy to get caught up in the stressors of the physical world. We are human after all. There are many issues around the world that stress us, frustrate us, and make us feel helpless with no sight of something better in the future. I couldn't have said it better myself in terms of what is happening right now. Like I said, there's so many things going on. There's so many of these huge, worldwide, collective issues burdening us, along with everything we have going on in our own lives, on a personal level, that just creates so much stress and anxiety and this feeling of helplessness. And I think it's a good message to hear, that we know we feel helpless. We know we feel bereft. We feel there's a lack of resources and a lack of being able to do anything, but there is hope. If we take a pause, if we have patience, if we take a step back, calm our minds and collect our thoughts and, disconnect from all the noise for a little bit and maybe regroup, and know that spirit and energy and goddess, God, the Fae, are here to support us and guide us and are right there with us, to help us meet our goal and make the change we want to see and create this world that we want for ourselves and for our loved ones and for the collective as a whole. And I just think this was just a beautiful message, and I just loved it, and I really wanted to share it, and it did give me some hope and definitely, provided some insight. So I hope that you, on this beautiful Sunday, take time to quiet your mind and disconnect and just breathe and relax and find that inner strength and inner peace, and then get back to it, and do what we need to do as a collective, as individuals, for ourselves and our lives and for the entire world. And I hope you have a beautiful Sunday.